It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare South Dakota's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
We are Fox Sports!
And here's what you need to know.
Miami Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel told reporters today that they expect to wait a little while before deciding on whether to exercise the fifth-year option on quarterback Tua Tagovailoa's contract, saying it's in the best interest of the team. Packers GM Brian Gutekunst wouldn't name a starting quarterback for 2023, saying he's had minimal contact with Aaron Rodgers. The GM said they'll know more on how to proceed for what's best for Rodgers and the Packers once they have a conversation. Bears GM Ryan Poles says their plan is for Justin Fields to be their starting quarterback in 2023. As Poles continues to analyze the draft class, Falcons let go of Marcus Mariota. Buccaneers said goodbye to running back Leonard Fournette, while the Eagles officially named Brian Johnson their offensive coordinator, and Sean Desai comes over from Seattle to be their defensive coordinator. Multiple reports say the Blackhawks are trading Patrick Kane to the New York Rangers. Lakers forward LeBron James out at least 2 weeks because of his foot injury. Kevin Durant to make his son's debut tomorrow against the Hornets.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, good Tuesday afternoon, everybody. How are you? Thanks for being here on the program. However long you spend with us, we appreciate that. It's always a great day in the Black Hills, and we're back. South Dakota Sports Talk Show packed for 2 hours. Great guests across the board. The Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome in, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM on the radio side. A lot of ways you can listen or watch. Bring us up on your phone, foxsportsrapidcity.com on your work computer. Yes, it's okay by me, okay? FoxSportsRapidCity.com, live stream there. Also on Twitter right now. Welcome in studio, the live video. You can watch the show on Twitter, at Nate Brown Show. Follow the show and watch us now. And also on YouTube, our YouTube channel, The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Subscribe. We'd appreciate it. You'd make me feel a lot cooler with my daughter. Got to get those subscribers up. That's the world, right? Got to get those subscribers up. The YouTube channel, The Nate Brown Show. You've got us, and we're back and ready. Interesting topics today. Thought-provoking sports talk, a Murphy's Pub and Grill question of the day. Couple of them, as a matter of fact, as we always do. Throw it around a little bit, and you can be a part of the show. We'll get you in here. The Nate Brown Show brought to you in part by Black Hills Urgent Care, our official urgent care when it comes to feeling sick. You got to get better quicker. The great staff at Black Hills Urgent Care ready with 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road on the west side, Bacon Park. Open 7 days a week. No appointment needed. You can walk right in or schedule on your phone. That makes it even better. You don't have to wait around at all in the lobby. Schedule on your phone, bhucare.com with the letter U, bhucare.com. Remember, the next time you're feeling sick, the faster way to get better is at Black Hills Urgent Care. Okay, Tuesday show. Let's look at the lineup, and then let's get rolling here. Brian Noe's going to join us tonight. NFL analyst and Fox Sports Radio national host of Countdown to Kickoff all season long on Fox Sports Radio. Brian Noe on the way tonight from South Bend. We're going to check in with Jerry Brewer, national sports columnist for the Washington Post. A lot of topics I want to hit with Jerry, including the Daniel Snyder situation and a new report out today from Jerry Brewer, okay? A new report out today. Jerry Brewer coming up. I got to talk to Jason Andera tonight. High school sports in the news today, and we're going to have some topics to discuss on the high school sports side I think you'll find interesting. I think it's worth the discussion. Jason Andera, Midcoast Sports high school sports analyst. Also trying to catch up with Dave Hollenbeck, St. Thomas More head boys basketball coach, getting set for the postseason. Cavaliers looking good again. Dave Hollenbeck on tap, and it's a Tuesday. That means it's Rapid City Rush review with the head coach of the Rapid City Rush, Scott Bird. He is coming up. Tuesday's show is packed. We'll get you on tonight. 720-1067 is our number. Join us live. 720-1067. Your take on the studio line. You can be a part of the show there. And the Barron's Wilson text line also ready for you. Direct text the show. 720-1067. That number, that is the Barron's Wilson listener text line. All right, so there's some things I'm thinking about today. And I don't think it's just out of left field here. I don't think this is something that's like, oh, let's just think of something to create controversy. No, that's not the case today. It's actually something that I've thought about over the last couple of years. And it's something that I was reminded of yesterday as I kind of looked at the weekend and I look at South Dakota sports events and I see what sports events in this state do really, really well, what communities benefit from this high school sports events, the economic impact, that all of that stuff, that always interests me. And so this was brought up in my mind again over the past couple of days. And I was thinking about the high school state wrestling tournament. And I said it here on the show a couple of times. I said, we've had great support here at the state wrestling tournament in town. I mean, if you haven't been to a state wrestling tournament, I would encourage you to go. We just had it this past weekend. The passionate West River wrestling fan base is really, really good. And by the way, the wrestling fans in general across the state, I mean, it's just that type of sport. The passion is heavy. It's really solid. The fans travel from all the schools across the state. They all come out, whether it's in Rapid City or Sioux Falls for that matter. The fans of state wrestling travel. They follow their sons and daughters and the schools and the whole thing, and it's really something to see. The Summit Arena at the Monument was rocking and rolling. I mean, just jam-packed and ready to roll. And I got to tell you, this is one of those tournaments that you look at and you say, is Rapid City a place, in my opinion, where state wrestling maybe should be considered as one of those full-time locations for state wrestling? It's something to think about, and there's a few reasons why. I think there's some events that we get out here on the high school sports front that turn out well, but there's also some events from the outside where these events, they turn out well themselves, but the experience sometimes maybe hasn't been great from some of the teams that come out, maybe some of the athletes that come out. And it got me thinking here. If Rapid City and Sioux Falls kind of switch up on the AA and A tournaments, right? That's how we do that now. The AA and Class A tournaments, basketball-wise, they switch up. We've got AA this year in Rapid City on the boys' side, okay? You've got the AA girls back in Sioux Falls next week, by the way, already, next week. And so we switch these up. Class A boys is going to be in Sioux Falls in a couple of weeks. And so we're always switching up the locations of the basketball, and I think that's a fine thing to do. People in Sioux Falls would always tell us, well, the Premier Center, the Denny Sanford Premier Center should host the basketball tournaments. We should have every tournament. And I've always said, we've always had the nicest facility, the Rushmore Plaza Civic Center. We always had the nicest facility. We just never said, hey, we got two arenas here. We got the Barnett. We got the Ice Arena. We could do everything right here. We never went down that road until kind of the folks from Sioux Falls started getting in that mix of, hey, we should host all the basketball tournaments. We should be the ones to do that. And then we built the new Summit Arena at the Monument. And now that argument is over, meaning we again have the nicest one-location facility. We have the Ice Arena if you want to do some combined tournaments, which we tried, and we've gone away from that. But we have the Ice Arena. That's a great facility. Great facility for hockey, and it works pretty darn good for basketball. It really does. And then you've got the new Monument, the new Summit Arena at the Monument. So that argument of, hey, basketball should all be back in Sioux Falls, that's over. So the basketball tournament thing is on a rotating basis. It all works well, and I think it's solid. The facilities are there, the experience is there. The thing I want to talk about is from the winter to the spring. Does West River support wrestling? I really believe we do in a big way. I mean, I think the wrestling fans out here, all the way from the little kids, some of our little kids programs, they're really strong. I mean, there's a lot of passion here. And the little kids go and watch with their families. They even go to the state wrestling tournament this past weekend. And you've got some great programs from Stevens to Sturgis to Central. Okay, you've got the smaller schools like Phillip. They've been so strong over the years. Okay, so you've got some great wrestling tradition, great wrestling fans. The one event that we rotate, I should say, is wrestling and track. So the state track meet, here's the issue. And how do we solve this? The state track meet was out here in Rapid City, and it was happening over Memorial Day weekend, right in that time frame. Right in the Memorial Day weekend time frame. What happens here in the Black Hills during the Memorial Day weekend time frame? The hotels are packed. Everybody's kind of juiced and ready for, hey, this is the start of the nice weather. We're going to go visit the Black Hills. We don't have everybody coming for this just for the state track meet. We got everybody and their mother coming to the Black Hills. It's kind of the kickoff unofficial of summer. We got families coming out, an early start. They're paying visits to all the great things that we have here in the area. And now we've got a situation on our hands, potentially, for hotel availability, hotel rates, and the whole thing. And I heard at the state track meet, there was just so much complaining from some of the teams that had to come to the state track meet. They couldn't get hotel rooms for cheap. They just couldn't do it. Why? Our hotel operators during that time are busy. The beds are not available. The room rates are going to be high. So I think you have to put this all together. You have to put the finances together, and you have to look at the events and say, does it make sense for Rapid City to look at having the state wrestling tournament and Sioux Falls potentially to have the state track meet? It's just a question I've asked. It's something that I've thought about. And as I've talked to people in the community, there's some people I think that would say, yeah, this makes sense. That makes sense. State wrestling in Rapid City, state track meet, Howard Wood, great facility, Sioux Falls, and they don't have to worry as much nearly about the tourist traffic. The hotel rates aren't going to be out of this world. The availability is going to be fine. The Black Hills on Memorial Day weekend in that time frame, it gets busy and it gets tough. I just don't think we don't necessarily want our schools, our teams to say, well, we're going to go out to state track in the Black Hills and the rooms are going to be $350. I mean, that's just unsustainable for a high school situation. It just is. So that's my big negotiation, potentially, okay? There is a little bit of pushback here in the Black Hills, by the way, saying, oh, state track should be rotated, state wrestling, just rotate it and just call it good. But I think there's some stuff behind the scenes, the room rates, the availability in the spring, the whole thing. And by the way, the infrastructure, we have state track and all three classes are going to be on the same location, which would be O'Hara Stadium, which needs some improvements. O'Hara Stadium at the School of Mines needs the backing here of some improvements. That means dollars, and that's what it would take to make sure that our state track meet continues to run at a high level and we can continue to host that event. So there is more to the story. It's not a deal that's like, well, this is just set in stone, but I've heard state wrestling in Rapid City. Would that make sense? State track in Sioux Falls. Would that make sense? Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Well, Nate, let's be honest. Every time there's an event in Rapid City, hotels skyrocket.
Well, especially if it's springtime, though. I mean, wrestling wasn't as bad. I know this right now in the winter. I do know that. Springtime's bad.
Yeah, but let's hold up a second. The Price Motel, this was 5 years ago, was charging $250 a night and $50 for every extra person. All right, Nate, have you ever been to the Price Hotel there?
No,
on East North?
I haven't. I'm sorry.
I put some toilets in there helping out a plumber buddy of mine. Let me tell you, Nate, I had to throw my clothes away because I got fleas.
Uh-oh.
Okay? Now, I got a housekeeper that comes twice a week, and I'm kind of a clean guy anyway, believe it or not.
All right.
Take away the Copenhagen. But I've never had fleas, Nate. I've crawled in tunnels. Combat, nothing. Leeches, yeah, big time. But fleas by putting in toilets.
By the way.
Now, let's go back to crowds. I've been to state basketball every time it's held here.
Okay.
I have never seen state basketball full like wrestling is every time.
I agree. I absolutely agree with that. State basketball
the
does
only
not
one
draw
I
here.
think that can top it is track and field.
Yeah, there's a
if you
huge
live
crowd
out west
there.
Here,
Yes.
Yeah, you're a track and field guy. Do I think we don't have the facilities, Nate? I'm looking at, because I spend a lot of time in T, Nate. So I hit these schools. My kids and I, we catch games. They're playing games. They just have the facilities, and unless we improve our track somehow, man, it's going to be ugly running 3 classes of track and skate track at O'Hara. It's
Well,
going to be
as
a
it is
nightmare.
now, yes. As it is now, I agree with that.
As it is now. And I know the track coach over at Stevens would love to have a new track facility just for our schools, but then you got to go back to Sioux Park. How come we can't play a varsity football game there? The field's not legal. We can't run a varsity track meet there because that track's not legal in the 4th turn, 3rd turn. It's not wide enough.
Yeah, no, there's going to have to be improved.
Why did we build $2-3 million facility that's not legit?
Well, that's a long story, but there's going to have to be improvements at O'Hara Stadium. That's the real story for state track.
Oh, it is, Nate.
And that's why I just wonder where this may go. I think it's a legitimate thing to think about for the Activities Association. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting
We just got to improve. If not, we're going to lose it.
All right. I appreciate you
Have
getting
a great
in.
day, Nate.
Thanks. 720-1067 is our number on the Nate Brown Show. The question I'm talking about is the high school sports calendar here. I think there's a discussion to be had, and everybody should probably get a seat at the table here of what's good for the economic impact for the community. That's important. That's not what's deciding things from the Activities Association. They want to make sure, do we have a good experience for the student athletes, the fans, the hotel availability, the facility? Do we get a good gate there from some of that stuff? Okay, there's kind of a checklist as I've talked to the Activities Association. What's the gate like? The attendance? What's the facility like? What's the experience like? How about the hotels? Do we have outrageous rates? I mean, there's pushback on some of the state track stuff out in Rapid City because it was expensive. When that state track gets into the late part of the year like that into May, which it does, that gets really expensive for the teams and the athletic departments. And now it is going to get a little bit expensive for the School of Mines. And that's why I said that the city and some of the stakeholders here are going to have an interest in, if we're going to have state track, there's going to have to be some support there to improve O'Hara Stadium, the track, the facility as it is there, to get all 3 classes there. That's the kicker. Howard Wood right now is ready to roll. They can do it there, and that's the story on state track. So I said, state wrestling is really successful here. How successful? Let's look. 2021, the last time I was here, 2021. This is the income Activities Association, okay? Income. And I'm talking after expenses, okay? So you got to rent the facility, you pay for some of the travel of the team, all that stuff, all the Activities Association expense. The net income, the net profit, if you want to say that, for Rapid City State Wrestling 2021 was $156,000. Okay, just over that. $156,269. $156,269. That's Rapid City State Wrestling net income 2021. Activities Association numbers. Sioux Falls had it last year. The net income in Sioux Falls, the gross revenue was up there, but it was more expensive to do there in Sioux Falls by quite a bit. There's a lot of factors at play, okay? So I'm not going to break down every line item of why it's more expensive to have the tournament there in Sioux Falls, but more expenses mean the net profit there for the Activities Association and state wrestling in 2022 was $104,000. So when state wrestling was held in Rapid City in 2021, we made $52,000 more dollars for the Activities Association. There's various factors about where teams come from and how much that costs and the facility rental and the whole thing. I get that. But Rapid City State Wrestling, very successful. And we'll see the numbers. They don't have them calculated yet for just this past weekend. They'll be getting that. I put in a request to say, hey, what does it look like for 2023? And we'll see if I can get those numbers, okay? The story is Rapid City State Wrestling, very successful. The hotel folks here have really loved it. I talked to some business folks just this week. I said, man, we were rolling. They said, state wrestling's in town. We were rolling, okay? And that's not to say that they don't say that for state track. But the issue is facility right now needs improved at School of Mines. There's got to be some buy-in and investment there if you want state track to continue, because the economic impact for state track is massive as well. I've seen those numbers. Those 3 days, that's big. Those 3 days, that's a huge crowd as well. State track's a huge crowd. That helps the hotels, the businesses, the restaurants, the whole thing too. But the issue has been the schools coming, at least last year, state track, hotel rates were expensive. It was tough. And now with all three classes at one location at the same time, O'Hare Stadium not quite ready for that. And we're talking some millions that will have to be spent if you want the state track piece here. Okay, listener text coming in. Let's see. Rapid City in the Hills area has more hotel rooms than Sioux Falls. Rapid City should host everything and demand to host everything. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm trying to get, hey, is this a fair trade? Is it a fair discussion? I think it's a fair discussion to have. Listener text, once you start suggesting to have permanent locations for high school championships outside of high school football, like in Vermilion, you're going to open yourself up with Sioux Falls now trying to just control all sports again. They'll say all the population is back there. We should just have everything. The basketball argument's over, I think. Is that I'm going to tell you today it's over, because basketball, we got the facility, we're fine, it's all good. We rotate AA and A, it's all good. Wrestling, successful in Rapid City. It's successful in Sioux Falls too. But it's interesting. Can state track become a major event every other year in Rapid City? We've got to invest over at the School of Mines. We got to figure out the hotel availability. More questions there. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Hey, Dave, Jim, thanks for taking my call.
Jim, what's up, man?
Not much. I like to see basketball more in Rapid, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I love basketball, you know. I love basketball, but we're going to get one tournament every year. That's just the way it is. I'm good with it. And the problem is, Jim, the East River people don't come out here for basketball. I don't know why that is. The wrestling fans come out here, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, last year when St. Thomas More was in the semifinal game, the crowd at St. Thomas More, their cheer staff, and the crowd was much bigger than the other people by far.
Yes. No, we support basketball out here. If our teams are doing well, we're there. I will say the East River does not travel out here for hoops, and that's just the way it's been. I appreciate
It'd be nice if Rapid would get a dome or something too, so the high school football would move out here too. That would be awesome.
Now you're talking big dollars, man. I got you on that. I appreciate it. Thanks for getting it. By the way, Jim, remember the first rendition of the Summit Arena, or whatever you want to call it, the monument? And remember the first go-around on the Civic Center vote? That did have an indoor football field. Do you guys remember this? That had an indoor football field. And you could separate it by a wall, and it was going to be almost as big as the Pepsi Center. And we killed that, right? I mean, and I argued about, hey, maybe that was just a little bit biting off too much to chew there, more than we can chew. And then we adjusted down, but who knows? We could have had an indoor football facility and maybe the state football championships. But nonetheless, state wrestling. Is that a Rapid City thing? Is state track a Sioux Falls thing? Right now, we rotate. I think we have to make sure we know what we have to do with the School of Mines. State track's a big economic impact hitter. Can we continue to get that event? The one thing I do not want state track in Sioux Falls permanently, and now we're still rotating wrestling. That's what I'm trying to get out in front of. Rapid City state wrestling competitions have been outstanding. The hospitality is great. I talked to wrestling fans today. They said they love coming out here. They got treated so well. The wrestlers love it. It turned out really, really good. The fan support's excellent. We do not want to have state track in Sioux Falls every year, and then now we're rotating wrestling still. It's got to be one for the other or keep the rotation. But we got to make sure we're on target and getting with it with state track and what we need to do. Coming right back with Brian Noe, NFL analyst, Fox Sports Radio. The NFL Competition Committee, they make up new rules or proposals. They're thinking about banning a certain play, and I wonder where you stand. Next.
Did you miss an interview or great segment on The Nate Brown Show? Just find The Nate Brown Show podcast and listen wherever you download your podcasts.
Winter is here, and at Renewal by Andersen, we've gotten used to these words from our clients. Wow, our house is so much warmer with our new windows from Renewal by Andersen. There is no place like home. A warm, comfortable home on a bitter winter night. And Renewal by Andersen's windows installed by our certified professionals can significantly reduce your heating bills, make your home secure, wonderfully warm, and welcoming. Scan that QR code, visit RBARapidCity.com now. Warm up at home with Renewal by Andersen. RBARapidCity.com.
Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A wind advisory in effect tonight. Light snow showers with a low temperature of 22 degrees and winds out of the northwest, gusting up to 35 miles an hour. Light snow possible again Wednesday with a high temperature of 30. Thursday, sunny, high of 42. A mix of rain and snow on Friday with high temperatures once again, topping out in the low 40s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 43.
At Denny Manhole Rushmore Honda, we have a lot full of used cars, trucks, and SUVs, shop imports, and domestics. Many are local one-owner trade-ins, plus the area's best selection of used Hondas and Honda Certified Pre-Owned, with financing as low as 3.49 APR, or buy any used with no money down and make no payments for 90 days. See us at Denny Manhole Rushmore Honda or RushmoreHonda.com. Financing on select Certified Pre-Owned. Length of contract is limited. Offer expires 2/28/23. Offers with qualified credit.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Ever since Barron's Wilson Funeral Home first opened their doors in Rapid City 140 years ago, they have continued to make personal service their #1 priority. In your time of grief, they offer a personal touch by being at your side through every step of the funeral process. They answer difficult questions and guide you toward other professional services you may need. See for yourself the wide variety of services they can provide for you by visiting their website at barronswilson.com.
Gift cards are great things to give as gifts. But when someone tells you you need to use a gift card to pay for something you owe, like utilities, taxes, and other fees, red flags should go off, and it should cause you to stop and think. Most legitimate companies will never tell you to pay with a gift card. Before you go to purchase these gift cards, please call Consumer Protection at 800-300-1986 and let them check things out for you so you're not out of your hard-earned money.
If you have a Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, BMW, Volvo, or any other high-end import, you might think you have to take your car to Denver or further for service. Hi, this is Martin from Al's D&I Repair. Don't plan your life around taking your car for service in a town 400 miles away. Bring it to Al's D&I Repair. Our technicians are trained to work on those complicated cars, and we also have the tools and equipment so they have everything they need to make sure your car is working perfectly.
Call Al's D&I to set up your appointment at 348-1447.
Hi, it's Colin Coward. Great to be in the Black Hills. Getting the herd weekdays 10 to 1 on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports.
Hey, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show off and running on a Tuesday. Fiery stuff today. Interesting stuff on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Fox Sports Rapid City. Packed lineup tonight. We got to keep rolling. Let's go out to Indianapolis to the NFL Combine. How fast is Brian Noe tonight in the 40? Let's put him in. Brian Noe covering the NFL Combine and more. Countdown to kickoff, host all season long on Fox Sports Radio. Brian Noe back on the Nate Brown Show. Brian, good to have you on. How are you?
Great, Nate. I think I run a 4.220, so
That's
it sounds
right.
impressive, and you just try to, speed through. I run a 4.220, and hopefully they don't catch on that you're running half the race,
I'm with you on that. By the way, I want to talk to you about the Combine. You're covering it. It's interesting. These are the guys. We're wondering if C.J. Stroud, what he looks like, and he's going to throw there, and Bryce Young from Alabama's not going to throw there, and I just wonder, what do we learn the most at the Combine? What's your take on it being there?
Well, what we should learn is you're really just confirming things. You're checking boxes because it's all about the film. That's really what it's about. And so if a guy shows up fast on film and you see him run a blistering time in the Combine, you just check the box and say, okay, cool, good, that's what we thought. If there's any type of red flag, I don't think that you end the evaluation there. Like if somebody tests really poorly, you just circle back to the tape and see if you missed anything on the tape. That's what the hardcore evaluators do, where it's more so box checking and then circling back and checking the film twice if you need to, if there's some sort of red flag based on the Combine numbers.
Okay, so I had a former NFL player on last night, and he said, Bryce Young not throwing there, that's the only smart play to make. I mean, he's saying, I'm just going to do my pro day with my receivers. I'm going to eat my own food, stay in my own bed. It's a controlled environment. Do you think that is the smart play?
I think it's the safe play. I think that if you're at your own pro day and you're throwing to receivers that you're familiar with, yeah, that makes sense because there's a lot of scrutiny. And if you overthrow, if you overcook a couple of passes, it could, reflect badly, and maybe it would drop you down a spot or two. Who knows, depending on who's evaluating you, which teams are. But I think the competitive part is to just go there and throw. You're throwing on air. I know you're throwing against or throwing with players that you haven't thrown to before, and there's some cause for concern. But, man, when you're throwing on air, that's a different deal. So I respect more what C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, some of the other quarterbacks, what they're doing by going there and throwing, it shows a level of competitiveness. I'm not, Bryce Young's off my draft board or anything like that. But, yeah, it's the smarter play, I think, but it's the less competitive way to go about it, in my opinion.
I got you on that. The safest play, potentially. Brian Noe on tonight. He's at the Combine, Fox Sports Radio National Host Countdown to Kickoff. Find him on Twitter at The Noe Show. So I want to get into this, and I asked my audience this question of the day. So the competition committee is going to be meeting here in March, and they're going to look at a couple of things. I don't know if they'll make a change or not. Couple of things. One is the push play. This push play. We see it all the time now. And I've only seen this the last few years. Really, the last few years, it's like every quarterback sneak, every goal line play, all of this. Two guys line up behind the QB. They push him, and the Eagles made hay on this, man. I mean, they weren't stopped once all season long. So we push them over, and we just keep pushing them. We get a first down, or we get a touchdown. The push play, banning it. Competition committee's going to look at it. What do you think your read is on it? What do you think the league thinks of it?
I'm all for banning it, Nate Brown. I'm all against it, where this isn't rugby. This is football, And I think it's a cheap way to pick up a couple of yards. So there's nothing wrong with the strategy right now. It's allowed. But until they disallow it, I think that it's on the league to do so and less on teams. I think it's smart strategy while it's legal right now. But I think that if you think about the safety aspect of it, Nate, that's why I think it really could get banned, is that if you have a quarterback who's basically a human sandwich between his O-line, the guys in back of him pushing him, and the defensive line and linebackers, he's like a human, I don't know, like he's the white part in the Oreo cookie. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you could have some injury concerns. Think about Patrick Mahomes. He got hurt on a quarterback sneak a couple of years ago. So I could see the competition committee banning that. And it's just weird, man. I don't know. It's just a weird way to pick up a couple of yards. But I think the safety aspect of it is what could get it banned.
By the way, news flash, I am with Brian Noe on this. I am with Brian. This is, I said here in the office, it's not rugby. We're not in a melee. I mean, we're not trying to, push each other 1 yard and another yard. Play a football play. I need a football play. That is not a football play. However, I think the NFL, they might look at this and say, oh, this is offense. It keeps the offense on the field. That's my worry. Its offense has all the advantage, and this is one big one, and I don't know if they get rid of it because of it.
Yeah, I could see them keeping it in. Maybe they keep it for a year or two. I can see it getting banned down the road. I don't know if this is the year, but yeah, I want less rugby in my football. That's all I'm saying, Nate Brown.
It is a bad football play. I'm glad they're looking at it. I was talking about it during the season, and I thought, we got to get rid of this play. It's a bad play. Okay, the other one, roughing the passer. There's questions about calls sometimes, and was that egregious? Was that, just kind of a graze across the helmet? Should that be reviewable? Let's take a look at roughing the passer. It's a huge penalty.
I say yes, as long as they're quick. I don't want these 2-3 minute delays and them slowing it down frame by frame. It's like, if you review it and it's obvious and you should change it and you can do it quickly, I'm all for it. That penalty on Chris Jones sacking Derek Carr was hot garbage.
Terrible.
You can watch that play one time and see, Nate, that it's not a body weight thing. He didn't land with all of his body weight on poor Derek Carr. He braced his own fall, Chris Jones did. He even recovered the ball with his opposite hand. So that should not be a penalty. If you can review that once, twice, and you change the call and on with life, I'm all for it. If we're slowing the game down time and time and time again to look at it tick by tick, no, I'm not down with that. So, in essence, yes, it just depends if they implement it and do it quickly enough. If they do that, I'm all for it.
Last one for Brian Noe on the competition committee. Should we think about giving teams another option outside of an onside kick, like an XFL type thing, 4th and 15? You can do an onside kick, or you go 4th and 15 deep in your own territory.
I don't like it, Nate. I don't like it. Maybe this is me more being a traditionalist, but I just think converting 15 yards, like that's way easier for a lot of offenses than recovering an onside kick. I just don't look at those as being close to the equivalent, right? So it's like if you're trying to find something that's in the ballpark, really close to the same thing, I don't think that's it. I think it's closer to 4th and 25, at least 4th and 20, but 4th and 15. Like, think about a high-powered offense like the Chiefs and Mahomes and the Bills with Josh Allen, Burrow, on and on. Like, converting a 15-yard 4th down play, to me, is not even close to trying to recover an onside kick. I think the percentages of successfully converting 4th and 15 would dwarf the numbers of successful onside kicks. So, no, I don't like it. Get out of my football, Nate Brown, is what I say.
I should have known that I would agree with Brian No on all 3 rule proposals. I agree with the No Show on all 3 because, you said 4th and 15, it's really easy. But, again, that gives an advantage. Offense, more close games. I don't think they'll go there. I think that's a pretty big change from the onside kick piece. Brian No on tonight. He's covering the Combine. Find him on Twitter at The No Show, and you'll hear him on Fox Sports Radio right here. Brian, always good, man. Thanks for coming on.
You're the man, Nate. Firm agreement, you know? We're like holding our arms. But it's kind of like, I don't know, like one of the Rocky movies where they both hold each other's arms up at the same time and we're just waving to the crowd. That's what we're doing tonight, Nate. I love it.
Not always great radio, but tonight it works. It works.
It definitely does.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate it. Good stuff. Always good to have him. Brian No on tonight. Again, NFL coverage from Brian. Great guy to have. Fox Sports Radio national host. Okay. You're with me on this, right? You got to be with me. The NFL Competition Committee is going to meet next month. One of the things they're looking at is banning the push play. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's that bogus play. It's a bogus play. If you're going to do a QB sneak, do a QB sneak. I don't want C.J. Ham and Dalvin Cook and everybody and Hawkinson pushing Kirk Cousins like a rag doll through there and we get a first down every time. I got 2-3 guys behind me now pushing me through. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is a bogus football play. It's Bush League. Any other comments? Let's ask that Murphy's Pub and Grill question of the day. There it is. Murphy's Pub and Grill going to give you a $20 gift card to Murphy's downtown. You know, the great place for lunch and dinner. Happy hour going on right now. Downtown Main Street. Should the NFL ban the push play where the offensive players push the player from behind to get the first down? I mean, we see it all day, every day now. I mean, it's not even close anymore. When it's 4th and 1, it's over. It's the push play, and it's easy. I mean, that's not football. I want some advantage to go to the defense. Every advantage is on the offense. We've changed the rules for the offense. And here's one where we could actually bring a little bit of football back in instead of we get to do a push play and, you know, watch Travis Kelce and these guys push Mahomes across. I mean, it's absurd. So the NFL Competition Committee is looking at banning it. I asked the Nate Brown Show audience, should they ban it? That's my question of the day. Should they ban it? 40% of you say yes, it's not a good football play. 60% of you say no, keep the push play. What are you guys, Eagles fans? Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
So I'm definitely not an Eagles fan. I'm a Niners fan.
Okay.
I still think we would have beat them.
Yes, you might have. You might have.
You know, I think we had a shot. But anyways, I think they either need to ban it, kind of like they did with jumping up on the back of a defensive lineman to block a kick.
Yep, that was an easy one. Yep.
Or the defensive linemen need to start taking a chunk out of the quarterback's ankle.
Something. I mean, because the defense can't stop that play. They can't.
Not for a yard, no.
And I want to see. I want to see real 3rd down and 1. 4th and 1. I want to see some of that. Those are some exciting plays to me.
And what that does is it makes it so there's no such thing as a 4th down if you can get close.
Correct.
And to that, but it's also, I don't know. But I don't like it. So.
I'm with you on it. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate that. Right now, we are losing the vote It's amazing to me. We are losing this vote. 40% of you say no, it's not a football play. You want the push play banned. 60% of you say keep it, the push play is fine. My goodness. Listener text, the tush push has to be banned. This isn't rugby. This is ridiculous. What a terrible play. Let me know, 720-1067. Keep the votes coming in on the Murphy's Pub and Grill question of the day. I've got a $20 gift card. I'll select somebody to get a $20 gift card to Murphy's. The Murphy's Pub and Grill question of the day. Ban the push play? Would you vote for that? I would. Where do you stand? Jason Andera coming on next from Sioux Falls. I've got a question for him on state wrestling versus state track. Should those two events rotate between Rapid City and Sioux Falls? How do we see that moving forward? Jason Andera, Midcoast Sports, next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show, on FoxSportsRapidCity.com and live on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Well, at Black Hills Health and Wellness Center, we have 4 chiropractors in the clinic, and our big focus is working on the musculoskeletal health of patients. Being in business in 39 years and having done business with every single bank in the area, in the community, in the last 2 years, we have definitely realized how much we have been missing out with the extra go-the-distance service that Pioneer Bank and Trust is willing to provide you. Pioneer Bank and Trust is local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort is the place to stay and play in Deadwood. Do you want to bet on the game, watch the game, and play your favorite table game? Cadillac Jack's and BetMGM allow you to do it all. From roulette to craps to blackjack with TVs all around, you don't have to miss a second of the game. Plan your stay at Cadillac Jack's for March Madness, because Cadillac Jack's and BetMGM deliver. Get the real Deadwood experience at Cadillac Jack's.
What can Elevate Performance do for your athlete? Brandon Drum, D2 lacrosse player at Mars Hill University.
I started going to Elevate Performance for problems with my knee, and after working with Britt, he identified some other issues that helped me prevent severe injury. Elevate's strength and conditioning program also helped me perform at a much higher level. My goal was to play college lacrosse, and I am thankful for Britt and Elevate for helping me achieve that goal. Elevate worked with me on a personal level and helped mold me into a stronger athlete.
Get your athlete started at ElevatePerformanceSD.com.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker in Rapid City. If you considered selling your current home, let me take you to that next step with confidence. The Black Hills housing market is competitive, and I have been in the business of attracting buyers for 15 years. Let's make it happen. Contact me, David Brenneman, at 415-0044. List it, sell it, and move on. With me, David Brenneman, at 415-0044.
Looking for a great place for a pregame meal that really satisfies? Or maybe you want a place to take your all-star after the game. Or you're looking for a place to enjoy a delicious meal while watching your favorite team on the big screen TV. Valley Sports Bar and Grill has all the bases covered for all those things and more. Top-notch, friendly, and attentive service. Wall-to-wall big screen TVs with all the big games. And the absolute best wings in Rapid City. Valley Sports Bar. Make it your place. 1865 Valley Drive, Rapid City.
Hey, it's Chris Broussard. Remember to catch the Odd Couple weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, let's get back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown Show.
Hey, your sports, your show, The Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. A lot of ways you can listen. Thanks for checking in. 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. Also stream us at FoxSportsRapidCity.com on your phone. If you get out of range on the radio side, you've got us there, FoxSportsRapidCity.com. Watch the show live. Welcome in studio where we have all the Broncos apparel hanging up. Yeah, come on. Let's go. Watch the show on Twitter, at Nate Brown Show. Follow us and watch the show 4 to 6 weekdays. YouTube channel, The Nate Brown Show. Jerry Brewer's coming up, national sports columnist for for the Washington Post. Jerry's a great writer. Good analysis. We've got Jerry tonight coming up. Dave Hollenbeck's on tap. St. Thomas More, head boys basketball coach. Cavaliers are salty again, man. They look solid. Starting region play this week. Let's talk high school hoops and more with Jason Andera from Sioux Falls. High school sports coverage from Midcoast Sports. He's on Twitter at Andera Midco. Follow him. Jason, good to have you back on. How are you?
I'm doing well. I spent the last 3 days at the Penn. Dave Hollenbeck watching his son play in the NSIC tournament, so that was fun catching up with him.
Oh, that's right. Minot State, right?
Yeah, that was. He had a great game. They didn't pull it out, but so it was a lot of fun doing that, and now heading back to covering preps across the state of South Dakota.
Okay, I like it. Before we get to preps, I've got a question of the day. It's an NFL question of the day, so I want Jason Andera to answer this question. The NFL Competition Committee meets next month, and they're thinking about banning that push play where 2-3 guys get behind the quarterback. Jason, you've seen it, and they push them across 4th and 1, and they just keep pushing, and they get 7 yards when it's all said and done. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anyway, should they ban it? That's my question.
How do you feel about it, Dave?
You know. So what do you say? Should they ban it?
Why did they put it in? I think they put it in because it was hard to legislate, really. It was hard to be able to figure out who's pushing and who's not when there's a big scrum like that. So they said, hey, let's let it go. But, of course, that's swung the pendulum too far where you've got design plays that are virtually unstoppable.
They set it up.
At 2 yards, and which, we've got 4th and 2, and you can't get the Eagles off the field, basically. That's kind of where it stemmed from, I'm sure. I was fine with the way it was before. I don't feel too strongly one way or the other. No, the way it was before when they didn't have pushing. Yeah.
Okay. They said, you can't do that.
I think banning pushing would be that'd be my vote, but again, not too strong either way.
Okay, I'm banning it, and 58% of the audience on my Twitter poll is not banning it. The push play is fine. 58%. I'm surprised. I hate the push play. I guess we like watching rugby. But anyway, all right, let's have some fun here. Let's get into this high school sports discussion. And I brought it up, and I think it's legitimate to look at. State wrestling just wrapped up out here, and it was a big event, Jason. Great crowd. It does well in Rapid City, and it does well in Sioux Falls, I will say. It rotates. And I looked at this, and I said, state track coming up. Last year in Rapid City, it was tough. Hotels were really expensive. I mean, it gets into Memorial Day weekend there. It's a tough one out here in the Black Hills at the start of summer. And so I said, are we going to look at the Activities Association looking at these two events and where they should be, state track, state wrestling? Do you think that's a legitimate discussion?
Well, it's a discussion that we're going to have from now until the end of time. I tell you that. This is one you can't solve because there's too many positives and too many different directions. So, what's best for the student athlete? And that's tough to answer. You want a great environment. You want to be able to support cities like Rapid City who can handle events like that. I'm fine continuing to rotate them. I think that's probably the best bet as far as trying to make everybody kind of happy. Either that or let's just have everything in Pierre all the time.
Okay, there you go. The new idea. Pierre, you're bringing Pierre into this. I love to see that. By the way,
centrally located. We just need to build some hotels.
There you go. I will say, because state track, though, out here, with all three classes now in one location, Howard Wood can do it. It's a great facility, infrastructure solid, the whole thing. O'Hara Stadium's really nice. There needs to be some improvements. It's going to be millions of dollars. And I said the city and some of the stakeholders here are going to have to buy in on that because I think state track here in Rapid will need to have a better facility in its current format.
Yeah, I think that's true. I don't cover track as much. My colleague Alex Heiner does more of the track during the spring. And he said that before, too, that when people go out to the Black Hills, it's just not, the facilities are just not the same as you would get at a Howard Wood field. And, Howard Wood is set up pretty darn well. I mean, really, across the Midwest, it's one of the best setups for a track and field meet like that. So now I think that is the best place. But, yeah, I like where your brain's at here, Nate. Let's get some investment going because everything else about Rapid City would be perfect for it.
Okay, I look at it, and that's just some of the facts behind the scenes. Rapid City has to be aware that there might be some investment there if we want the state track meet to be at a high level at O'Hara Stadium. Jason Andera on tonight, Midcoast Sports. Let's get to basketball. So I'm going to start AA boys. Sioux Falls Jefferson gets knocked off by Pierre last night. Jefferson's still the number 1 seed. They're going to play Rapid City Stevens. But what should we think of Pierre beating Jefferson? Not a surprise?
Well, a little surprised. Yeah, a little surprised. This Pierre team has been interesting all season long. They've tried to do a few different things offensively, a few different rotations offensively, and Brianna Kusler has really kind of been molding this, just like every other coach, to be playing your best ball at the end of the year, and I believe she's done that. I think they're at the point where they've got the rotation right, they've got the scoring spreading out right. I think Jackson Edmond, maybe one of the least talked about good players in the state for Pierre, well, great players, I should say, is really, really come to play the last month. He has been maybe the best big man in the state in Class AA. And the Pierre team is ascending at the right time, right here toward the end of the year. And this Jefferson team, honestly, I think they've been picked apart a little bit. People have kind of discovered and looked at them on tape and said, I think we know how to slow that press down. And that's what got them, to that great 15-0 start. And since then, they've got a lot of great athletes, but they're getting neutralized a little bit. There's been a lot of close games for Jefferson, and they're not the overwhelming favorite anymore. That being said, if you ask me who's going to win it, I still would pick Jefferson.
You would? Okay, I was wondering, has the gap closed with a Jefferson, Lincoln, Pierre, even going as far down like Yankton, Washington?
Well, let's go. I mean, we were just talking about this today. I was talking with Washington head coach Jeff Tobin, and he said, I'm scared of the 11 team, the 12 team. You've got Matt Eng as the 11 seed guy who can go off for 30, 40 points. You got a kid on Aberdeen Central who scored 52 earlier this year.
Yeah.
He said there's a lot of stuff that can happen in this SODAC 16 round where you can't even start to project. And then we've got some awesome games. Harrisburg and Brandon Valley, very similar teams as far as win-loss record, but very different styles, and anything could happen there. Mitchell is a team I've been impressed with all year long. When Lincoln shoots well, they're awesome, but they're vulnerable as well. So this AA tournament, I am so excited about it that, I always pick which tournament I'm going to go to. I'm going to head out to Rapid for sure because I got to make sure I take this one, and this is going to be a classic.
AA boys in Rapid in a couple of weeks. AA girls in Sioux Falls next weekend already. And AA girls, your bet would be on who?
Oh boy, this would be one where you hold them. You know what? You don't make a bet because we have so much conflicting information, and it's easy to just look at the schedule and say, well, they beat them, and you could go round and round with that game. A month ago, I would have said this Pierre team maybe is my sleeper pick, and then I watched them in person play against the North Dakota team in Bismarck, and I said, well, I don't know if they can do it. And then they come back and they play two of their best games right before the end of the year. So I think Pierre is definitely one to watch here. Washington has some good players. There's no Jackalinga and Wenentanda in this tournament. There's a lot of good players, but there's nobody who can really take over a game. I think O'Gorman is a team definitely to watch coming down the stretch here too. They're playing fantastic. And of course, Jefferson's lost a couple now, and they've moved all the way from 1 down to 4 in the seeding. So this one could get crazy. I mean, don't count Stevens out. I mean, Stevens played competitively. I'm not picking Stevens, but don't count them out. They're a team that could hang right in with a lot of those top 5, 6, 7 teams.
The Stevens girls hosting the SODAC 16 will have coverage of that. They're playing Huron coming up this week. Stevens girls trying to make the AA tournament out in Sioux Falls next week. Jason Andera talking AA hoops first. We'll swing back, talk Class A and more next time. Midco Sports. Follow him on Twitter at Andera Midco. Jason, always good, man. Thanks for the time.
You betcha. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Jason Andera tonight covers high school sports in Sioux Falls for Midco Sports on Twitter at Andera Midco. All right, a little AA discussion for you, boys, girls. I've got a high school basketball discussion I really, really want to have, and I'm going to be fair about some of our teams out here and some of the teams back there. A high school basketball discussion, does there need to be a significant change in how we do some things leading into the postseason? I think it's something we should really discuss. I'm going to get to that, but first, a Rush review with head coach Scott Bird of the Rapid City Rush next.
This is the Nate Brown.
Winter is here, and at Renewal by Andersen, we've gotten used to these words from our clients. Wow, our house is so much warmer with our new windows from Renewal by Andersen. There is no place like home. A warm, comfortable home on a bitter winter night. And Renewal by Andersen's windows installed by our certified professionals can significantly reduce your heating bills, make your home secure, wonderfully warm, and welcoming. Scan that QR code, visit RBARapidCity.com now. Warm up at home with Renewal by Andersen. RBARapidCity.com.
Youth and sports teams in their pursuit of excellence.
Here with Brian from Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail. Winter has arrived, my friend, and I know you guys are a great asset to all the motorists this time of year.
Remote starts are the first thing that we can help with that will make your life much better. We can install Arctic Start remote start systems, which we feel are the best systems in the business, from just $299. From the Ultra Simple with a range of 1,500 feet to LCD remotes with really cool options that have a range of 1 mile.
Really? You can start your vehicle from a mile away?
Really, and we can even better that. With our drone mobile unit, your smartphone will start your car from anywhere on the planet. Plus, you can monitor vehicle security, the temperature inside the vehicle. It even has a GPS system so that your rig can always be located.
That's incredible.
Stop in or give us a call. We'll go over all the remote start options available, and we'll do it with the best prices in the area.
Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail. See AnytimeAnytime.com, and as always, at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Welcome back in the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, live, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City. Stream us there, foxsportsrapidcity.com. If you miss any parts of the show, any guests, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. You can find it where you download your favorite podcast right now on Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, SoundCloud. The Nate Brown Show podcast available for you. Listen at your own convenience. Download it. You've got us there. Like the gentleman that walks his dog and listens to the Nate Brown Show podcast. What a dandy, man. That guy's the real deal. I got to set my goals higher. Walking my dog and listening to a great radio show, right? Well, great sometimes. Sometimes. There we go. Scott Burt's in tonight. It's a Tuesday. It's a Rush review. Rapid City Rush hockey takes 2 out of 3 from Tulsa. They're on the road at Allen this weekend. Rush in the Mountain Division, staying in the hunt. You got to get those points, and they're trying to do that. They get some against Tulsa. Scott Burt, the head coach, on tonight. Coach, good to have you back on. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm getting freshened up right now. Getting a haircut.
Wow.
Lucky parlor hair. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I know you got to look fresh. You got to look fresh on the sidelines. I know that. Okay, let me go to this. You go on the road. Did you do what you needed to do?
To an extent, yeah. You know, we were going there for 3. We got 2. So am I happy? Yes, I'm happy. Do I think we could have taken 3? Yes, we were going into the third period tied 2, and we got into a little bit of penalty trouble, and you know, they got a couple goals on us, and unfortunately for us, you know, we took 4 to 6 points. So we'll take that, and we'll move on to the next weekend.
Okay, 4 out of 6 points. You need that because the Mountain Division there is tight. Idaho's ran away with the number 1 spot. Give us a sense for this Allen series here of the weekend. You're not that many points down. Another key one this weekend. Talk about the hunt here in the Mountain Division.
Well, we're right there with Allen, and Utah's right there, and Kansas City is right there as well too. And I wouldn't think that Wichita's too far away. You know, what team is going to get on a roll, right, and get points? You just said it there. It's about gaining points, and that's what we got to get. So our goal is Saturday night in Allen, and we're just going to go there and play the best that we can play and see what happens with that.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about the process now. I see you're bringing in another new player. I saw that signing today. How are you dealing with that, Coach? Is some players are leaving? You're having to get new players? I mean, some guys that are brand new here. How's that look?
Well, it's unfortunate. Kenton Helgeson was put on the IR today. He's a big part of our team and our captain that will be sidelined for 4 to 6 weeks with a broken ankle. That happened on Sunday in Tulsa. So we had to act fast, and we had to bring in another defenseman. Hence how we found Charles Martin to join us. So he's gonna be a part of our group right now, and you know, we just got to hold off and get some points. We're hoping to get John Martin, who's been out for almost 10 weeks now with the tricep, and then we're hoping to get Rory Cairns back into the fold here within the next 10 days or so. So, you know, we're slowly getting healthy. But with that being said, the players that we have here need to step up, and we got to gain. You know, this is a huge weekend ahead of us this weekend. So, you know, it's not the end-all, be-all, but for us, we got to get some points. We got to find some points and, you know, see what happens.
Rush just took 2 out of 3 in the games at Tulsa. Now they go to Allen Saturday and Sunday. Head coach of the Rapid City Rush, Scott Burt, they're 4 points behind Allen right now in the Mountain Division. I look at it. How does it work, Coach? Do you talk to the Calgary affiliate? You say, hey, can we get some players here? I mean, that's not probably how it works. What can you do?
The funny thing with that is the players that have been assigned to us are all hurt, right? So that's the tough part, you know, with John Martin being hurt and Nikolaya being hurt and Cairns being hurt and Chechelev being called up on recall, and then obviously where Quinn Wickers is up in San Diego. So, you know, that's a part of this league. It's about movement up and down, and you got to deal with what you got to deal with. So the players that we have here, you know, have to take that next step and garner some minutes and be the players that they were brought in to be. So that's the tough part of the ECHL, is when you could lose players in a snap of a finger. You know, and it's our job to find some players. Now, do I have those conversations about what kind of players are coming out of college? I do, you know. So Calgary is active with us, looking at players to bring in here in the next little bit. And they understand where we're at, too, with our injuries and numbers and goalie situations and all that kind of stuff. So we are in contact with them, and they're working with us. Right now, I was talking to a coach. There's not many players that are out there. You know, I've talked to almost every team, in the ECHL asking about defensemen. What do you got? Do you have anything that maybe there could be a trade bait or something like that? And there's not much out there. So we were very fortunate and lucky to grab Charles Martin out of school that he just finished up. So in the next week or so, there will be a few more players. We'll have to act fast and see what we can bring in.
The Rush on the road at Allen, staying in the hunt. Head coach Scott Burt, and they play Saturday and Sunday. Coach, always good to have you. Best of luck as you go on the road again. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks a lot, Nate.
I appreciate the time. Scott Burt in tonight on a Tuesday Rush review on the Nate Brown Show. The Rush, 24-27, 1-0, 49 points, 4 back from Allen. A big couple of games coming up Saturday and Sunday on the road. You're home for the Rush on the road, the Skybox downtown. Watch the Rush, the official watch party at the Skybox above the Firehouse downtown. Into the Drive at 5 on this Tuesday. Let's go to this. High school sports discussion, high school basketball discussion, okay? So the postseason starting up, SODAC 16, where the teams get ranked 1 through 16, and it's based on your regular season, and you get seed points for who you beat and that whole thing, right? Do we need to have a different scenario when it comes to regular season high school basketball and how that impacts the postseason seeding? I have a feeling we might need to. Let's ask a question of the day about, should there be a big change in high school basketball next?
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
First Gold's Horseshoe Restaurant announces their crab leg extravaganza. For a limited time, enjoy a full pound of delicious crab legs for just $24. Or choose the Horseshoe Restaurant's Surf and Turf specials that include crab legs and your choice of a 12-ounce New York strip or 10-ounce sirloin with chef choice vegetable, baked potato, and side salad for only $49.95. Don't miss the crab leg extravaganza going on right now at the Horseshoe Restaurant inside First Gold Gaming Resort in Deadwood.
Used cars, used trucks, used sport utilities. Find them all at Danny Menholt Rapid Chevrolet. Shop over 300 used cars, trucks, and SUVs. GMCs, Rams, Fords, imports, and more. Many late model local trades. Plus, used and certified pre-owned Chevys. With qualified credit, buy with no money down and make no payments for 90 days. 16 local and national lenders available and all applications accepted. Shop the Black Hills best selection in person at Danny Menholt Rapid Chevrolet or DannyMenholtRapidChevrolet.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey Rush fans, it's Rob at the Firehouse Skybox. We are your official home for Rapid City Rush hockey. When the Rush are playing on the road, join other Rush fans at the Skybox and enjoy some great food and cheer on your Rush. We show every Rush away game and we'll have Rush-themed giveaways every road trip. You'll get a chance to win great Rush prizes with the purchase of a drink or food item. The Skybox has the best food and the best Rush game day experience. Go Rush!
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
For nearly 100 years, Connex has been providing the know-how and materials to help their neighbors grow. Through partnerships with builders, homeowners, and contractors, Connect Home Centers have impacted our communities, making them stronger and safer through support of local organizations and neighborhood beautification projects. Improving the quality of life for others is important to us. We are Connect Home Center, your hometown lumberyard lending a helping hand in building our communities since 1928.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Good stuff on a Tuesday. We're back into the Drive at 5 already on the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. The Drive at 5 driven by Summit Automotive Group. If you haven't taken a look, pre-owned selection really good. SummitAutoGRP.com. Remember that site on your phone. Bring it up. SummitAutoGRP.com. At Summit, you'll experience car buying truly built around you with Stacy and Matt and their staff. The right vehicle, the right financing. No high-pressure sales gimmicks. None of that garbage stuff. SummitAutoGRP.com. Start there. Drive at 5 on Fox Sports Rapid City with Dave Hollenbeck coming up. St. Thomas More head boys basketball coach. We'll talk hoops with Hollenbeck. Jerry Brewer's on tap, national sports columnist, Washington Post. Great guest all the time when we have Jerry on. He'll join us talking NFL. Daniel Snyder with the Commanders. There's an interesting scenario developing there, as you might expect. Jerry Brewer coming up. Okay, question of the day brought to you by Murphy's Pub and Grill downtown. Shot for you to win a $20 gift card. Murphy's gives us $20 to you. Question of the day answers randomly. We'll select them on the Barron's Wilson text line. First question of the day brought to you by Murphy's. I mean, you guys got to get with us on this. You've got to get with me on this. The NFL Competition Committee is looking at banning the push play, where offensive players get behind the quarterback, 2 or 3 players, and they just push them across for a first down. The NFL Competition Committee is going to discuss that next month. Should they ban it? My question of the day. 41% of you say, yes, ban it. It's not a real football play. 59% of you say, no, keep it. The push play is fine. I hate the push play. It's a killer. I mean, this one is just killing me. It's like illegal forward progress all the time. I mean, why do we have forward progress then? We should just be able to just keep running. Hey, I stopped you for a minute. No, I get pushed and I can keep going. They don't let guys push you down the field. They stop the play. It's like forward progress. We can't just push guys down the field, but we can push the quarterback on a 4th and 1 and we get a first down. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. But 59% of the audience here saying keep the push play. I can't believe it. We shall see what the NFL does next month. Listener text, wait until it's 4th and 1 with your Broncos and the push play is banned. Yeah, it's fine. We get Russell Wilson. I mean, we're good. He'll get us that first down. He'll get cooking sometime. That's what I'm hoping. Hey, I want to get into this high school basketball discussion. This is something that, I really notice right now. And I think it's something to discuss for the high school teams around the state. So here's the AA SODAC 16 scenario. And I'm not picking on one team, but there isn't much equity in how some schools schedule basketball games in the regular season, and then they get seed points based on that. And sometimes it works out to their benefit if they have an easier schedule where they can now get a pretty good seed for the SODAC 16, the one-game play-in into the state tournament, as we introduced the SODAC 16 years ago. And you win that game, you get into the Final 8, and you go to the state AA tournament. What I mean by this is, so the Sturgis Scoopers had a nice season. I liked their basketball team. I really do. On the boys' side, they've had a nice season. They're 10-9. The difference for Sturgis, they're the 10 seed in the SODAC 16. They play Sioux Falls Roosevelt this week. Okay? They have to go on the road. They got to go back to Roosevelt. That's going to be a big challenge. We'll see what happens. But they did get the 10 seed. Sturgis did. Their schedule was not nearly as difficult as other teams in AA boys basketball. For example, even Rapid City Stevens and Rapid City Central. Stevens and Central play all the Sioux Falls schools. They play all of them. Okay? And that's a meat grinder. I mean, you go on the road a couple of times. You're playing O'Gorman over there. You're playing Washington over there. Then you go to Lincoln and Roosevelt. And it's a grinder. Okay? Stevens is coming in here. They haven't had a great season. I get it. They're the 16 seed. They got a really hard matchup this week against number 1 Sioux Falls Jefferson. Rapid City Central's the 15 seed. They play Sioux Falls Lincoln. So I just look at it and I say, if Stevens and Central had a similar schedule or were able to have a similar schedule, I think their record would be different. That's just my prediction. And I look at it and I say, whether it's Sturgis, whoever it is, I think there has to be more equity in the scheduling of games if you're getting seed points and AA seeding based on, well, there has to be some equity there of what teams do in the regular season. And right now it doesn't appear that there's that schedule equity. It's never going to be perfect, and all teams don't have to play everybody. I'm not saying that. I don't think you have to play every single AA team. But some of the schedules don't play any of the Sioux Falls schools. I said Stevens and Central played all of them. Sturgis didn't play any of them. Okay? And the deal is that allows for sometimes to get a better seed. Someone asked this question of the day to the audience. Do you think the state should actually look at taking over the high school basketball schedule just like they do for football? So right now, the Activities Association schedules your football games. They say, okay, here's the conference, and we want to get conference games, but let's see if we can get this game and that game, okay? And the Activities Association takes it over. Is that what would bring more equity and seed points? The Activities Association taking over the high school basketball schedules? Something tells me the high school basketball coach is listening. Well, they're all in practice right now, so I'm free and clear. But the high school basketball coaches would, hey, got a second. I got to stay in charge of my schedule. So I don't think the coaches would love it. But I do know some programs are like, man, there's some teams that don't play a hard schedule, and our schedule is really hard, and so we kind of get punished for that. So which way is it? Which way is it? Do we need better schedules, more equity? The state says, okay, here's your schedule, so you can't have these teams, and no Sioux Falls schools on your schedule. Should Sturgis have to play all of the Sioux Falls schools? I'm going to say probably not. Probably not. I mean, that's you can't expect Sturgis, hey, we're going to play Roosevelt and Lincoln and Washington. I mean, look at the difference. While they're all AA schools, look at the difference. But should Sturgis have to play maybe a couple of Sioux Falls schools? Yeah, I think so. I really do. I don't think, throwing in a Belle Fourche and a Custer and stuff instead, Hot Springs, teams like that. I don't love that. I don't love that. But I don't think the coaches and folks are necessarily going to want the state to take over. The schools right now, the ADs and the coaches schedule their games. But there is a lack of equity in the scheduling, and then it affects the seeding for this one-game play into the state tournament. It all comes down to one game. And Stevens and Central, boy, tough season, right, on the boys' side. And now they've got the toughest matchups in the SODAC 16. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. What do you think on this?
Well, I would be willing to bet you that Sturgis isn't going to win their first game, even though they're a 10 seed. They haven't played a really tough schedule. I mean, I can remember, like
but they still got the 10 seed. That's the thing. They have a better seed than O'Gorman.
But if they haven't played anybody, they're not going to be ready for even a better, maybe a, what do they play? Was a 10 play the 6, 7? What seed does a 10 play?
7, yeah.
7?
Yeah.
Okay. They're not going to beat the 7 seed. If they haven't played good teams all year, I mean, that's what Dave Hollenbeck and Wayne Sullivan and Brandon Canlon did for a year. We had these really great records, and then we'd play these good teams in the district and the state tournament, and we can't beat them. So he finally, they figured out, hey, let's play good competition all year long. Sure, we might lose a few games. It might affect our seeding a little bit, but at least we know where we stand competition-wise. And I don't think teams that, fatten up their records against mediocre schedules, it's not going to help in the tournament.
Well, I got you on that. I just wonder, because your seeding does matter. It comes down to one game. I wonder, should the state schedule games. They do it for football. I don't know if I would love it, but I think we got to have maybe some rules in here. You got to play a certain number of teams or something.
Well, you'll probably get a disagreement from the STM coaches because they'll play anybody anywhere, and if the state schedules them, I don't think they'll give them this tough a schedule, and I think they want that.
Yeah,
so,
I think a lot of coaches aren't going to want the state to do it. No, I agree with you on that. But it's interesting because some of the schedules are not quite equal. There's no doubt.
Well, you'll see in the districts and in the Sweet 16, you'll see the cream rise to the top pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, I got you. I appreciate it.
Seed or no seed. Okay.
Thanks for getting in. What do people say to this? Murphy's Pub and Grill, second question of the day. I love it. To potentially bring more equity in seed points for high school basketball scheduling, AA. Should the Activities Association take over just scheduling all high school basketball games like football? Should the Activities Association schedule the games like football? 42% of the audience on Twitter says, yes, we need better schedules. 58% of the audience says, no, just leave it up to the schools. Jerry Brewer is in next on a Tuesday, national sports columnist for the Washington Post. So here's something to talk to Jerry about. The NBA has ratings have been declining. The All-Star game was the worst rated All-Star game ever. But the NBA has some numbers out. I've got them in front of me. They said, hey, we've got some huge numbers in this category. And this is what we really, really care about. Are they right? We'll discuss it with Jerry Brewer next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show. Follow us and watch the show live on Twitter at Nate Brown Show.
Today on Hey Culligan, buy to save. Here's a text from Devin in Denver. Hey Culligan, I'd love a water softener, but I don't want to pay for it. Devin, I can't help you there, but a Culligan high-efficiency softener can help you save oodles on energy and detergent, so the savings can be even greater than the cost. And I'm getting a mind-blown emoji followed by, yes please. Devin, the savings are already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A wind advisory in effect tonight. Light snow showers with a low temperature of 22 degrees and winds out of the northwest, gusting up to 35 miles an hour. Light snow possible again Wednesday with a high temperature of 30. Thursday, sunny, high of 42. A mix of rain and snow on Friday with high temperatures once again, topping out in the low 40s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 41.
Need service? Denny Menho Toyota services all makes and models, even if you didn't buy it from us. Our certified techs do everything from oil changes to major repairs. Plus, we offer free inspections. Need tires? We'll beat anyone's price on the same exact tires and free rotations for the life of the tires. Need convenience? Schedule your service online and get free car washes and a free courtesy shuttle. We're at your service at Denny Menho Toyota on East Mall Drive or at DennyMenhoToyota.com.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
Hi, this is Cody Young at High Plains Physical Therapy and Aquatic Therapy Center. I started High Plains PT in 1999, and we've been providing personalized care in Rapid City to help our patients get back in action. Remember, you have a choice for who you go to see for physical therapy. With our state-of-the-art Aquatic Therapy Center, we are equipped to help you achieve your health goals. At High Plains, we'll give you the one-on-one treatment you deserve. We look forward to working with you at our new facility. To get started, visit highplainspt.com.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back in the Drive at 5 on a Tuesday. The Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, your sports, your show. Great guests across the board. From the biggest national names to the local sports newsmakers, we got you covered. Fox Sports Rapid City. Jerry Brewer's on tonight. National sports columnist. Great coverage for the Washington Post. WashingtonPost.com. It's on Twitter at Jerry Brewer. I want to hit a few topics with Jerry. Welcome back in, Jerry. Thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. Thanks for having me again.
Well, thanks for your time. I know you're busy and rolling through some stuff. I want to go to this discussion. It's been happening the last couple of days, and really since the NBA All-Star break. You know, people are saying, okay, NBA ratings, they've declined. NBA All-Star game ratings were terrible, lowest ever. And it's just bad news there. And the discussion is, Charles Barkley's talked about it, well, the load management's a problem, and star players don't play in the back-to-backs. Fans get upset about that. I think there's some legitimacy to it. I don't know if that's now the ratings are down. What's your take on that initially? And then I'm going to get into what the NBA is kind of thinking of. Maybe they're going a different route instead of just the traditional linear TV ratings. But what's your read on load management, how it impacts the following of the game?
Yeah, it does have a negative impact, not being able to feel like you're getting your money's worth, whether you're tuning in and watching on television, but certainly if you are going to games and you want to see Kevin Durant or LeBron James or Kawhi Leonard play, maybe the only time that they come on the road to play in your town. You go to the game, you don't get to see them. I get that's disappointing. I believe Charles Barkley has framed it terribly because he seems to be putting it on the players and saying, oh, they don't want to play. The load management, if you recall, is a term that starts with organizations. And ultimately, when we talk about load management, that's decisions by the coaches and the general managers in the front office not to play players strategically because they're trying to preserve them for the postseason. And I think it's born out of the fact that we know more about the wear and tear from analytics and from all kinds of devices and things that we have, wearable devices and all of that really show when a player's fatigued. Just technological advances where we know how stressed the body is. And with all this information that they have, they're making these decisions saying it's in the best interest of our franchise to not have our $45, $50 million a year player play in as many of these 82 games as we possibly can because we're focusing on the marathon that is the postseason, and the NBA postseason lasts from April to the end of June if you're going to make it all the way. And they're kind of thinking about that. And so I think Steph Curry has been one who's been very much like, hey, wait a minute. Remember, these are our organizations telling us don't play. And I do think that even though athletes are a little different and a little softer than they, I guess you could say, most of them do want to give you your money's worth. So that's, I think, one thing that needs to be specified in terms of load management. However, just the concept of load management is very, very difficult for the average sports fan to deal with because you just don't have certainty. And it's really bad when you tune in for a nationally televised game expecting to see the best of the best and guys don't play. And that kind of goes back to Greg Popovich and the way that he treated Tim Duncan when Tim Duncan got old. I'll never forget there was Tim Duncan was the first to get a DNP, and remember the NBA started changing how you had to explain why you're giving them a DNP, and it was DNP illness, DNP knee. Popovich put down DNP old for Duncan, and it was hilarious then, right? But now that it's just so popular, it's really difficult, and I think that contributes to the linear TV ratings decline that the NBA experiences from time to time.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, it's the organizations protecting their investment. I mean, there's massive investments. They're protecting their investment. From the rating side, here's something I saw. NBA All-Star Weekend, TV ratings lowest. Social media engagement highest. The Mac McClung slam dunk thing, 520 million views. Most ever for an All-Star Saturday night. Is the NBA going, hey, we're accomplishing some things that we want to accomplish there?
Yeah, I think the NBA, compared to, let's say, the NFL, which is the king, the NBA is far more of a global game. And I think the NFL has tremendous social engagement, obviously, but a lot of that's just penetrating the American market. If you talk about the worldwide market, which is way more vast, the social engagement for the NBA is that much more significant. And so, yeah, I do think that they are thinking about ways to expand their audience. That's a little bit dangerous because you don't want to alienate your most passionate base kind of in pursuit of people that you don't necessarily like have a great understanding of all of their quirks and intricacies. But clearly, like that is the NBA is looking at it and saying we can be such a polarizing product for whatever reasons to the typical American audience, but we're wildly popular worldwide, and we need to lean into that.
I thought
the question is exactly how much should you lean into that?
That's something else. 500 million views in 12 hours of the NBA All-Star Saturday night, the Mac McClung show. Jerry Brewer on tonight, WashingtonPost.com, national sports writer. Find him on Twitter at Jerry Brewer. Speaking of Washington, let's go to this organization. You've covered them a lot, and there's a story at WashingtonPost.com today about owner Daniel Snyder of the Commanders and his attorneys. The report is they've demanded that other owners in the league indemnify him, against future legal liability and costs as he's selling the team here. So looking for, hey, if there's things that go awry, there's things that are a problem, I'm going to need to be compensated here to be protected here. What did you think of this as the reporting's being done by some of your colleagues there?
It's another one of those wow things, and that on top of the fact that ESPN.com had a report today about a $5 million secret loan that's at the probe of the federal investigation into Daniel Snyder's misuse of funds, and that story was really explosive. In tandem, once again, it's just another pushing back of the curtain to just show how poorly run this franchise was and just how evil, for lack of a better word, Daniel Snyder can be. And, I obviously, I would defend our reporters and how thorough they are any day of the week. And then Don Vanetta Jr. at ESPN is fantastic as well and buttoned up. And so as much as they try to deny this, as much as the NFL tries to deflect this, all these things are true. And these problems now become an issue that makes it really difficult to get him out without there being blood. And I think we're getting to that point where the owners are going to have to take the gloves off and go after one of their own. And going after one of their own means he might come at you with some stuff because he claims that he knows where all the skeletons are in the closet, where all the bodies are buried. And I think a lot of that scares owners to death because they've been able to do whatever they want to do without any accountability besides media scrutiny. And this could really open up a box that may be very difficult to close. But it's embarrassing for the league. It's exactly what the league deserves. And we'll see how much they want to fight.
Yeah, I would assume, Jerry, the other owners in the NFL, they're not going to say, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll we'll indemnify you here and take care of any future problems. I mean, they're not going to do that. So now he goes down this road. Well, if that's not met, he's threatening to sue is the reporting. Well, what's the out here? I mean, can owners finally say, we got to get him out?
Right. I mean, it's, it feels like extortion. I don't know if it's like legally extortion, but it's that's what it feels like. All of these threats. If you're a league, you got to stand up. And you're not only fighting Daniel Snyder, you're fighting anyone else who wants to try to play these games. You got to stand for something. There's an integrity in terms of your working relationship being one of 32 owners in this NFL conglomerate. And so the message needs to be sent loudly and clearly that we're not going to deal with this. And so far, they've deflected Jerry Jones, who's by far, he and Robert Kraft by far are the most powerful owners and the most influential owners in the NFL. And so far, Jerry Jones has acted like he doesn't have enough proof on any of the sins of Daniel Snyder. And that's kind of been the way that he has left it. It'll be really interesting as we approach the owners' meetings next month if Jerry Jones starts to sing a different tune. We already know Jim Irsay, the Indianapolis Colts owner, is part of a faction, and a faction that is a growing faction that would really like to challenge getting him out of there. If you're Daniel Snyder, I guess if you're really worried about like all of the things that are hanging over your head, of course you would try to pursue a clean break. That's ultimately what he's trying to do, right? Like, when I sell this team,
I'm done.
I don't want any problem.
Yep.
But guess what? So many of those things are above the heads of even the NFL, which feels like they can control everything. There's no way you're going to indemnify him. And so it's just absolutely ridiculous what he's asking for. And I think that's the point. I really do think that's the point in which most owners say, you know what? You want this fight? Here it is.
I'll tell you, this is a wild one. WashingtonPost.com, and it's been wild. They've had great coverage on it. A lot of various stories going every which way. It's hard to keep track for me. They do a nice job. Washington Post coverage. National sports writer Jerry Brewer on tonight. Find him on Twitter at Jerry Brewer. Always great, man. Thanks for your time.
All right, anytime, man.
Thanks a lot. Jerry Brewer tonight on Fox Sports Rapid City. WashingtonPost.com, national sports writer here on the Nate Brown Show. Find him on Twitter at Jerry Brewer. Boy, oh boy, the Daniel Snyder saga continues. I mean, it's a Washington Post report today that, essentially Daniel Snyder, he's trying to sell the team, I guess, because people wanted him to pretty much. Okay, because he's had all this behind-the-scenes stuff and all these problems and lawsuits and everything, every which way, investigation of the finances. And I mean, it's just a mess. And so he's going to sell the team. He wants big bucks. And he said, once I do this, I don't want any legal problems after that. I'm done. So he said, I want you guys to indemnify me on that. Future legal liability and costs if I sell the team. That's the report, according to the Washington Post today. Snyder's demands also include a threat to sue if they don't meet those conditions. And so now the owners, are they going to get to a vote on removing Daniel Snyder? Are they going to do this? Are they just going to let him, just let him sell the team? Let's try and get out of here. It's dicey. Let's just say that. I didn't think it could get any more dicey, but it seems to be, with the Washington Commanders and Daniel Snyder and the sale of the team. Trying to happen, I guess. Dave Hollenbeck's on next on the Drive at 5 on Fox Sports Rapid City. He's the head coach, St. Thomas More. A lot of basketball topics to discuss, and I'll talk about his program as they enter the postseason on the way.
You're listening to the Nate Brown.
Winter is here, and at Renewal by Andersen, we've gotten used to these words from our clients. Wow, our house is so much warmer with our new windows from Renewal by Andersen. There is no place like home. A warm, comfortable home on a bitter winter night. And Renewal by Andersen's windows installed by our certified professionals can significantly reduce your heating bills, make your home secure, wonderfully warm, and welcoming. Scan that QR code, visit RBARapidCity.com now. Warm up at home with Renewal by Andersen. RBARapidCity.com.
All your office, shop, and storage needs. Contact Quality Commercial Properties, LLC at Samco Business Plaza. Quality, affordable, reliable. For the best rate, best facility, and best customer service, it's Quality Commercial Properties, LLC at Samco Business Plaza. There really is nothing better on the west side of Rapid City. Call 605-721-9777. Quality Commercial Properties, LLC at Samco Business Plaza.
Okay, honey. Open wider.
Okay, I'm
sorry. I know. Okay, so wait, let me just get the vacuum to suction.
Would you let your spouse give you a root canal? Renewal by Anderson thinks not. You'd want a specialist or an expert.
Ooh, that looks funny. Okay, hold on. All right.
What do you mean funny?
Okay, I'm just going to look that up on the internet. Okay, you know what? Let me just try the salad tongs.
Oh, no.
That's why when you need replacement windows, you need Renewal by Anderson, because they only do windows. They're experts, no subcontractors.
I'm going to sit on you to get some leverage.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
All right, okay.
Renewal by Anderson. Hassle-free, energy-efficient, low-maintenance windows with a professional, perfect fit. They won't leave you hanging.
Hello, operator. I did a root canal on my husband, and he's sitting on top of the refrigerator, and I think he's bleeding out.
For a perfect fit, call 605-341-7831. Renewal by Anderson of South Dakota.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, your finances, your insurance, your life? This is State Farm Agent Matt McCormick. Let me help you simplify and get to a better state. With me handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. Even more money, too. Because adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and get to a better state with State Farm. 348-0464.
Stock up and save on the toughest filters in the business during Wick's Filter Sale Days at your local Sturtevant's Auto Value Parts store. Not only will you get the best deal of the season on our very best filters, but you'll also find deep discounts on oil, fluids, grease, batteries, and more. Upgrade your filters during Wick's Filter Sale Days at your local Sturtevant's Auto Value Parts store. See store for official sale dates. Sturtevant's Auto Value. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Hey, this is Rob Parker from The Odd Couple. Don't miss our show weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Rapid City. And now we'll send you back to Rapid City Sports Talk Show, The Nate Brown.
Hey, welcome back in. Your Sports, Your Show, The Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Rapid City. We're live weekdays 4 to 6. You're home for high school guests to college to the pros, national guests across the board. Catch the Nate Brown Show podcast. If you miss anybody live, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. It's always up there. We'll upload it tonight. You can download it where you find your favorite podcasts at Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get it. The Nate Brown Show podcast available for you. Well, we've talked high school hoops quite a bit tonight. Some interesting topics out there. I want to get into more postseason coverage. St. Thomas More boys basketball getting the bye here early on. Getting set for postseason play. Trying to make that SODAC 16 essentially, and then to the state tournament. Okay? Good season for head coach Dave Hollenbeck again on the Cavalier boys, and he joins us live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Coach, good to have you back on. Thanks for coming on. How are you?
Thanks for having me, Nate. I'm doing good.
Let me ask you before I get to high school hoops. Hey, how about your son there goes to Minot State? What did you think following his season this season? Looked like they had a good one. Couldn't quite get through the NSIC, but what did you think of his season?
Yeah, he had a really good season. I thought he progressed real nicely. Had some really good games throughout the year, and you know they're little young right now, but I think they're going to be pretty good in the future. That ran into a tough Northern State team the other night and knocked them out of the playoffs, but he's in a good spot and doing well.
How hard is that for you? You watch the games from afar. You can't tell him a thing, Coach. I mean, come on. You've been coaching him for 10 years.
Yeah, that's a little bit tough when I'm sitting in the living room watching him. I was able to go to 6 or 7 games, but it is a little tough when you can't yell at him like I used to. But he's somebody referred to him the other day as a coach on the floor, so he's doing pretty good out there. I'm pretty proud of him.
Connor Hollenbeck playing at Minot State, he, of course, on St. Thomas More's team just a few years ago. It was a great team that would have made a state championship run. I think that was the COVID mess that we had. Cavaliers trying to get back there again. You were there, Coach, last year, and so that's your goal always. We got to get to the state tournament. We got to win a state tournament. You didn't come up with a win last year, but you guys advanced. How about this year's team and the difference between this year's team and last year's team that you've noticed? Maybe some good positives, maybe some things you guys might have to work on and a gap here going into the postseason.
Well, it's the first thing. It's a really loaded class this year. There's a lot of good teams and better than last year. The returning champs are undefeated and poised to come down the stretch here at the state tournament and probably be in that championship. So, the competition is a little stiffer this year than it was last year. Now, we do have some guys coming back where we have some experience from last year's team, but, we lost some good seniors last year. And one thing about these guys, they're playing hard. We're defending pretty good again. It's just going to come down to whether or not we can score enough points to get some wins.
You've had some great teams in the past. That Dakota Valley team, they won it last year. The winning streak they've had's been unbelievable. How hard is it to win that many games in a row?
It's very difficult. We won quite a few games there when we had those back-to-back teams, and I assume they're going to be pretty close to breaking the all-time record in Class A that Custer has. I think it's around 54 games, and they'll land on that early next season.
Dave Hollenbeck on tonight. St. Thomas More boys basketball. They've got a bye waiting the winner Hill City Belfouche coming up. So I look at the postseason here, and you said you haven't loved the Sodak 16 model of going to a neutral court. They've discussed, the Basketball Advisory Committee has discussed, should we make Class A like AA? The higher seed gets home floor. We're going to see if they can get a vote on that. Would you want that?
Yeah, I think that'll pass if they can get a vote or get that to a vote. I'm assuming. Now, it may also hinge on whether they go to the 32, and that would be home court for sure. But I think if they stick with this 16, they'll get it to the home court advantage, I assume.
Would you compromise on that if they go, hey, instead of the regions and then the Sodak 16, where every region gets 2, we're going to go top 32, end of story, but the higher seed gets home floor. Do you want that more?
No, I'm not in favor of that. I think we need to be careful there. It's a little bit what I worried about with the Sweet 16 or the Dakota 16, whatever we call this. The problem we have out west here is this now allows for the Sioux Falls area schools to own the state tournament. And as soon as you get 8 Sioux Falls area schools into a state tournament that's hosted in Rapid City, your attendance is going to be way down. And it's going to give them the opportunity to say, we got to move this to Sioux Falls.
Yeah, I've seen that in AA, by the way. AA's had this issue.
Yes, and, hopefully our 2 local AA's can win in the 16, but, the way they're seated, the odds are against them, and if they happen to lose, now here again, there's not going to be a West River AA in there unless Sturgis gets in. So here again, our crowd size is going to be small for the AA's, which is going to give them that idea that they need to move to Sioux Falls every year. So that's what I worry about if we go to the 32. I think it'd be a big mistake.
Dave Hollenbeck on tonight's St. Thomas More boys basketball coach. Before I get to your team again, one more. Basketball Advisory Committee was brought up. Proposal came from Stevens girls basketball coach Adam Dannenbring, and he said, I want to sign off. I want to have AA teams play up to 2 Class A teams, or B teams for that matter, but Class A or B, no penalty in the seed points. Would you, and they're going to get a vote on that. Are you for that?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, and I will say Stevens has played St. Thomas More a couple years in girls. But points or no points, why aren't they playing St. Thomas More in boys and girls basketball every year? I mean, it makes no sense. And by the way, the -2 points that they would get or whatever is not going to affect their seeding that much. I mean, but yeah, I'm for that. I mean, if that would be the decider that, oh gee, now we're going to play St. Thomas More, well, yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, so that's interesting. I'm ready to go with that. So if they vote on it in March, the ADs, they say we're gonna have that happen. Do you expect we could have a St. Thomas More, Stevens, maybe a Christian Rapid City Central type event?
Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath. I would caution on that happening anytime soon. But maybe there's going to be somebody wake up and figure this out and make sure that happens. I don't know what the administrators over there are thinking.
Okay, let me ask you, your team right here, you said Class A is stacked. First things first, you're trying to get into the SODAC 16. Looks like a great opportunity for you to be, setting yourself up for another state tournament. How top to bottom good is Class A? Like a SODAC 16 matchup for you. It's hard to kind of determine. That matchup might be tough this year.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We're very fortunate to be in the situation we're in. We've got a high seed. So, hopefully we'll have a favorable matchup to get in there. But, when it's the top 8 teams that are really, really good. And so the teams that get in that state tournament, it's just going to be a tough route, especially with Dakota Valley as good as they are.
Class A boys stacked this year. I want to make that trip myself to Sioux Falls. Dave Hollenbeck, St. Thomas More boys coach, trying to get there first into the SODAC 16. They've got a bye in Region 8 and getting set to try and make that run. Coach Hollenbeck, always good to have you. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Dave Hollenbeck on tonight talking hoops. STM, great run, great season again. They've had a challenging schedule, and they're set themselves up pretty nice. By the way, Sturgis, they played STM, and Sturgis, they got a 10 seed in the AA boys SODAC 16, right? I mean, Sturgis' schedule wasn't AA heavy, so they played STM, some teams like that, and it turned out okay. We'll see where this goes on the scheduling side moving forward. That AD's meeting's coming up in Deadwood, and they're going to get to vote on the AA teams playing Class A teams, no penalty. I think we could see some great basketball matchups, I hope. Cavaliers getting set to make a run. We'll keep an eye on it as we cover them on Fox Sports Rapid City. Coach Hollenbeck on tonight. Cavalier Report brought to you by Collins Siding. Things are cold, right? Yeah, maybe they'll warm up in the spring, but it's cold. How's your home held up? Black Hills, Collins Siding's been here over 40 years. Just Google Collins Siding, and you can receive a free, no-obligation estimate on your home's exterior needs. Get in touch with Collins Siding, energy-efficient windows and doors. Spruce up your siding and get set for spring. Coming right back with who's hot and who's not. There's a state that authorized sports betting. Okay, this is a new state with sports betting. How do you think their first month went? That's next.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City.
Are creepy crawlers hanging around your house or maybe even in your house? Warren Chemical and Equipment Company has the answer for spiders, millipedes, crickets, sow bugs, and more. They carry professional-grade pest control products and applicators for do-it-yourself pest control, and they can advise you on how to use them. For professional hands-off pest control, call Warren Chemical and they'll handle your pest problems for you. Warren Chemical and Equipment Company. We kill bugs. Call us at 342-7644.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A wind advisory in effect tonight. Light snow showers with a low temperature of 22 degrees and winds out of the northwest, gusting up to 35 miles an hour. Light snow possible again Wednesday with a high temperature of 30. Thursday, sunny, high of 42. A mix of rain and snow on Friday with high temperatures once again, topping out in the low 40s. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 41.
With 2 locations in Rapid City, Pizza Ranch is ready to serve your family. Every Wednesday is Kids Day. This is the best deal out there with the best buffet in town. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult at the Pizza Ranch Buffet Wednesdays. And don't forget their senior special every Tuesday for $8.99. The Pizza Ranch Buffet. It's all good at the Pizza Ranch with 2 locations in Rapid City. And remember, daily online specials for carryout or delivery at PizzaRanch.com.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
All right. Let's wrap up the Tuesday show. Packed show tonight. Catch the Nate Brown Show podcast that'll be going up here shortly. We are live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Who's hot and who's not tonight at this time every night. Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Kids Day tomorrow. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult. The Pizza Ranch Buffet tomorrow, Wednesday. The buffet open 11 to 8. Kids Day all day. Take the family to Pizza Ranch Buffet tomorrow. 2 locations in Rapid City. In our Who's Hot category, I will go with the state of Ohio taking advantage of that sports betting opportunity. I've talked about South Dakota maybe expanding to the mobile side. Well, we hit a wall there. Ohio just launched sports betting, okay? Very first month, January 2023. The numbers are out. Ohio generates $1.1 billion in sports betting wagers. In their first month, that was the second biggest market in the country in January. That surpassed Nevada, okay? I mean, Las Vegas, the whole thing. Ohio, $1.1 billion in sports betting in their first month in January. That's the second biggest market in that month. Just wild. I guess Ohio, how did you guys do? Not great. The sports books won 20%. That's a pretty high number. When it comes to sports betting, Ohio's got to get with it. You got to get smarter, guys. Got to get smarter out there. No, don't bet emotion. Don't bet emotion. Okay, in our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category, is conference realignment continuing to come here? Look at what the Baylor athletic director said today. Baylor athletic director Mack Rhoades in the Big 12. Are they going to poach the Pac-12 right here, right now? Quote, there may be movement. We got to think, how do we strengthen ourselves? Big 12 AD, Mack Rhoades, Baylor. I just think about that and I say, there may be movement. How do we strengthen ourselves? I think the Big 12 might be looking at the Pac-12 teams. Where's the Pac-12 going from here in my Who's Not tonight? Where are they going? Keep an eye on it. Big 12, AD, Mack Rhoades. There may be movement. How do we strengthen ourselves? Coming back tomorrow on the Nate Brown Show at 4. Catch the podcast going up tonight, and The Odd Couple's on right now. Thanks for listening. See ya.
Sitting in for Chris Broussard. Here he is.